possible in a higher vibrating world.
Right, absolutely. So that's all, going to fall off the map as long as we don't get sucked into it. I mean, it doesn't mean that we can't have a bad day or feel, real grief about it or anger or this and that, but, it's built into many of us that we're not going to let it drag us down, and obviously we're not going to, join in on it. That it's very important to help activate everybody to just feel that they can step into that. A lot of people don't feel worthy of themselves or their higher nature, or they feel they can't give them permission because it's easier to feel guilty and it's easier to feel angry than to just say, I feel bliss even though I just saw something horrific on the news. And that's where we, kind of struggle. At least that's where I struggle. It's like, it's hard to just continue in a blissful, having a great day. It's like, of course we want to do something. And so the point is to make fun out of the work we have to do, the work of restoration. We have to feed with a lot of positivity and not give away our bliss, nature, or happiness, or joy in the cleanup process, because the lower alien races actually manipulate emotions and manipulate our perceptions because they know how powerful we are as dreamers and creators. And if they can use our brains to make us negative and fearful, then they've almost won half the battle, because the rest is just the reflection and the illusion of what we collectively carry as a collective vibration. So, what we're seeing right now in the world is imbalance. We're seeing disaster. But it really is a metaphor for the inner conditions, and just in the way that we all are relating and connecting. I mean, even on Facebook, you think it'd be all friendly, you leave a nice philosophical update, to try and lift some spirits, and some jerk comes along and wants to rip you to shreds. So, and, people are just wired for that. But yeah, if kind of bypass it and just do the work we have to do, because we can't, dream our way out of this necessarily, but I'm definitely one, and I was telling my friend that I'm ready to be and be face-to-face with any of these people at any time. The ones that screwed me over, the ones that are behind all this, I'm ready to knock down the doors of any building I need to, and I just feel bold like that. I don't, maybe not the wisest thing, but there's nothing holding me back. They don't scare me. It's they're just cowards that are trying to terrorize us from the inside out.
Yeah, isn't that funny how it's often the weakest people that are the most terrifying, because they're actually afraid of you. And so in order to get a handle on their own fears, they have to be much more horrible and do such horrible things. What do you think we can do as individuals to create balance within?
I think just, it's hard because we carry a lot of ancestral patterns. Our childhoods really affect us. We might have experienced difficult relationships, and it's very hard to just all of a sudden find that connection, because not just is this world in a level of programming, our individual lives, we see a lot that defies even our own having government and control of our own existence, just in our personal relationships and how our families feel. So there's no true sanctuary to return to if one's had a tumultuous time. So for those who have really gone through hell and back just on a micro level within their own family and relationships, those are the hardest to help find balance. But, there's a level of detachment one has to have. There's all sorts of things that one can do to kind of be more of an observer than one that's in it, and to remind oneself that if you've really created a lot of adversity in your life, or you were born into a lot of adversity, or you've been in situations that are absolutely traumatizing and hellacious, to just remember what a warrior you are, because if you're willing to go into the thick of it, you're also willing to, assist in transforming it. And if we can keep ourselves from getting lost and remember that we're actually there to be a catalyzing force, how that usually catalyzes us to awaken, we're also giving it, that yin-yang, that burst of energy that helps it find that spark within to get over all those issues. War and all this evil is really created over very immature issues that happen in one's childhood and happens, why does somebody lose it? So, the ancient game and the roots of all the stuff that's going on in the world, I understand the roots of it as far as that goes. And how they use people, how they manipulate people, how they mind control people. And the best thing that we can do to find balance is to not only be aware of it, but know that our spirit is so much more powerful that it can actually deactivate these things. And if we really consciously, whether it be, just not being taken down that road, stopping yourself and being aware. I mean, because I witnessed this with my partner who was mind controlled, and I tried to help him. You know, I got magnets and I got Oregon and anything that I could do to just help deactivate him. But the same frequencies were hitting me, but I was like more allergic to it. I wouldn't allow it into my being. I would like scream it away from me or get really angry, and I was like always wrestling with like evil forces. Like there was no way I was going to let them into my body, but I certainly tried, you know, for years and years and years. So I just decided to not inhabit my body until like I exhausted them, and then I got in. To answer your question, I know I'm kind of beating around the bush. For somebody myself who's gone through war after war after war, death, resurrection, you name it, you know, being a Libra whose gift is balance, you know, I got more Libra than anything else. The way I find balance is in stillness and silence and total detachment. Just pull yourself out of it, find that breath, and just focus on that for long enough to condition yourself to be able to go back into it and not be of it or a part of it, but just, you know, be senior to it so that you can start to give it a sense of you that it can come into harmony and balance. It's kind of like a tug of war until somebody gives in, and to just be so strong to not be the one who gives in. And if you fail, you fail. It's just like somebody who's an alcoholic. Hey, they might slip and have a drink. Big deal. Forgive yourself. Try again. Don't give up. You know? None of us, we all have a failure. I mean, there's a part of us that, I mean, who wants to be perfect anyway? We do our best, but it's about being conscious of it and being aware of it is really going to help us come into balance, and having others around us that know these games that can be supportive, you know? And that's what people who get abducted, I just think it's being on shows like this and having us all, you know, talk to one another and sharing stories, relieving the burden of the inner struggle that we think that we might be alone in. When we realize we're not so alone, it helps us find balance because we don't feel like a victim or being, like I called myself today a cosmic piñata. I mean, I feel like, you know, every time I get grounded, something comes along and whacks me again. And I'm down on the ground and I'm just like bleeding to death and I have to get back up. Yeah. And that doesn't feel very balanced, but the point is I can get back up. So we just have to like help each other get back up.
Yeah. I have a question for you that pertains to the, Agent X who was trying to get you to go to Mars. Were you ever told what the time, when that was going to occur? In other words, was there a scheduled date or a period of time when everybody that was involved with that project would be leaving for there? And also, how do they get there? Do they have back-engineered ships?
They're pretty, the ships were, I'm not going to get into the technologies, so much, I have a lot of it written down. I've saved all my emails. And that can be looked into later, but, you know, a lot of it is the technologies that we're talking about that are hidden. We're not,
right.
A lot of things are sort of pulled together, those that were recruited, and the technologies that these folks were using are very much, technologies that, allow them a certain level of control that are ET technologies. The target date, I got an email that I looked back on in 2005 or 2006, but the target date was 2012, and that, you know, we have this long to get this together. For the target date 2012, and I have that saved email, so for the record, I can easily, you know, show that. And they also talked about the Project Looking Glass that said that nothing could be predicted after 2012. There's a disturbance in the field, and they seem to acknowledge a lot of the global elite stuff. But what I noticed about this group is that the ringleader of those agents that were trying to recruit people were scientists that connected to MK Ultra, mind control technologies, and things, you know, back in the 70s that were very much connected to global elite stuff. So what, do they have some sort of transformation and then, let's grab a few and go to Mars? I mean, isn't that just as elitist? So I don't like to look for these people, but they're certainly been associated with them. Then I found out the groups that I was with, the groups that wanted to recruit me, they connected themselves to MJ12 somehow. And but yeah, the target date was 2012, and they've gone through a lot of different changes. You know, it's a mixed bag. I've talked to a lot of them since I've come out with my story. They've kind of tried to befriend me and sort of, they even said, okay, we're going to follow you now. We're not going to repress you anymore. It's almost like they admitted everything that I've been talking about. And like I said, I save all my emails, so I'm not just saying this because it sounds nice, but I mean, I have all the backup based on everything that I've been telling you. So, you know, they're just sort of like, even saying that these agents and these intels are smarter than you think, and they knew that I would turn around and bite them and expose them. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I just get all these really bizarre emails, you know, from these people, and it's very hard to figure out. But I did get, a confirmation that the Mars trip was the target date 2012, and that there was, and then, through Andy and all that we pieced together, that there's been a colony in the works there for quite some time.
Oh, yes, apparently there is. Underneath the Earth, there's a base, which, according to Andy, there were several different races that were living there at the time. So, you are doing an incredible job of bringing enlightenment and truth and integrity and just your warrior battle self into this time that we're in. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you do. And I know that this hasn't been an easy path for you. I just sense that about it. Do you have a website where people can find out more about your work and maybe get involved in some way?
Yeah, sure. It's Cosmic, COSMIC, Gaia, GAIA, 2012.com. And it's really to just empower the fact that Gaia is a cosmic being, multidimensional, and there's all sorts of stargates and things opening up, and my path is about being merged with the positive timeline, and that's what it's really about, is to just really stay strong so that we're dreaming and creating our way out of this while also tackling the problems that are in front of us. So, check it out.
Yeah. It's a fascinating read. I read all of your information and what you've been through, and it was just, some of it was heartbreaking, and some of it is very enlightening and very moving. It was a beautifully written site. And do you mind if I mention Keelia's site as well?
Yes, please do.
Because she validates everything that you mentioned today in our show, and she's quite a beautiful spiritual person. And her website is 2012goddesscosmos.com, and there's a lot of information there that's very, very clear and very important to understand in terms of what's going on today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
check it out.
Laura, it's been a treat having you on. I'm just delighted to talk to you and to meet you. And I wish you the best of luck in the near future. And hopefully we'll all be going out that portal together.
Oh, we will. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. This is getting to be a bit much now. All right. Thanks a lot, Laura. Good night. And good night to the audience, too.
Okay, good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.